Assalamualaikum, hello and welcome to Dialog TVS, the show where we talk to the people and the voices shaping Sarawak's future. I'm your host, Razi Ahmad.
And alongside with me, Shol Shmato, and today Razi will talking about an event that has grown in Sarawak into a very important platform, not only for the region, but also for Southeast Asia as a whole. Now, the Sarawak Energy Sustainability and Renewable Energy Forum, or commonly known as SAREF, organized by Sarawak Energy.
And for those who don't know, SAREF is now in its fourth edition, and it's become a place where leaders, experts, and communities come together to talk about how we can build a sustainable future. This year's theme is Partnerships for Our Goals, Sustainable Growth and Prosperity for the Region, which promotes the idea that we can only achieve progress if we work together, Cheryl.
Yes, that's right, Razi. And today's topic, Razi, would touch on everything from renewable energy development, digitalization to cross-border collaborations, and of course, this time, youth engagement. Now, we're going to talk about how SAREF is turning ideas into real action, especially as the world faces the urgent challenges of climate change. Now, joining us today is none other than the man behind SAREF himself. I'd like to welcome to Dialog TVS, Datuk Sharbini Suhaili, Group CEO of Sarawak Energy. Welcome, Datuk.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us today.
Yes.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Today, Datuk will share with us, I'm pretty sure, the vision, and we're so excited to hear what's behind SAREF 4.0, its impact, and how Sarawak is actually positioning itself as a regional leader in renewable energy. Now, Datuk, let's start with a little bit on this year's theme, as was mentioned by Razi earlier. We know that every edition of SAREF is anchored by a theme that sets a tone for very vital discussions and outcomes. And this year's theme, as was mentioned, Partnerships for Our Goals, Sustainable Growth and Prosperity for a Region, which brings us something that is very vital for Sarawak and the region itself. Now, the focus this year, I think it's on partnerships, how working together can drive sustainable growth and prosperity, and also tying closely to United Nations Sustainable Development Goals to achieve net zero carbon emission. Now, could you also share with us behind the vision and the theme of this year's edition of SAREF, Datuk?
Thank you very much for having me on this. So this Sarawak Energy's vision is to achieve sustainable growth and prosperity for Sarawak by meeting the region's need for reliable and renewable energy. And this vision forms the foundation of everything we do in Sarawak Energy, and it's the aspiration behind SAREF. And I think you mentioned that SAREF actually was conceptualized to bring together industry leaders, policymakers, and experts from the global energy and sustainability area to come together and discuss and talk about the transition towards a sustainable low-carbon future, and also focusing on the United Nations Sustainability Development Goal or SDGs. And I think SAREF provides an ideal platform for this important conversation on sustainable energy, on climate resilience, and inclusive growth to Borneo, while at the same time showcase the potential for Sarawak and for Borneo to be the energy hub or the battery of ASEAN, and to be the center or a driver of regional interconnectivity in this region. And I've always mentioned in many of my talks that for Southeast Asia to achieve a zero carbon future, it is imperative for each of the member states to capitalize on the renewable energy available to them and to share it with their neighbors to ensure that the whole region will transition to a low carbon economy. And we know that advancing energy transition requires collaboration. Nobody can do it alone. So that's why I believe that SAREF, now is SAREF 4.0, is the good platform for us to basically advance this discussion and also actionable actions for us to be able to deliver what we discuss and what is needed for us to move to a low carbon future.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot there. I think you mentioned about Sarawak becoming the battery of ASEAN. But before we talk about how we get to become the battery of ASEAN, I want to bring it back to 2019. So SAREF began as an idea to bring people together to talk about renewable energy and sustainability originally. So since then, it has grown into a major platform that attracts voices and big industry players from around the world here to Kuching, no less. So, and each year the event seems to get bigger and more impactful. So looking back, how has SAREF evolved since that very first forum that Sarawak Energy did in 2019? And what makes this fourth edition different or even more significant than previous years?
So SAREF is a 10-year thought leadership program. And when we first conceptualized it in 2019, we are looking at how together as a company and with our stakeholders and with our regional partners, how we can further advance energy transition towards a low carbon economy, as I mentioned earlier on. So we organized our first series in 2019, and we have Tan Sri Michelle Yeoh, who was making the keynote address there. And the next one was SAREF 2.0 in 2021. That was mainly done online because that was during the COVID years. And 2023, we came back to BCCK, and we have Dame Christina Figueres as the key speaker. And basically, this year, we are back here, and we have a very strong lineup of speakers, which to me, will be able to have, to give us a very fruitful discussion and discourse on how we can move further in terms of, energy transition. And so I think over the last three series, we have seen that SAREF have grown into an important platform for advancing regional dialogue, for forging relationships and partnership, and shaping a strategic discussion and conversation. And more importantly, is inspiring concrete action towards delivering our objective of low carbon future. So we have in many ways achieved some of the original objective we had when we first thought about SAREF. One of the first things we wanted to do was to ensure that large hydro is recognized as renewable energy in Malaysia. At that time, it was not. So that was one of the objectives we had. And after 2019, we managed to achieve that. So I'm glad that now renewable energy or hydro will contribute towards Malaysia's target of COP21. And now it's the fourth edition, and in this edition, I'm looking at enhancing our partnership towards regional collaboration, towards interconnection, which is important. As I said, there will be no transition without interconnection. And I believe that this platform 4.0, SAREF 4.0, give us a very good opportunity for us to work together with all of our regional neighbors and all of our stakeholders in Sarawak, in Sabah, in Borneo, and in Malaysia to advance this cause.
That's right, Dato'. And you mentioned a lot on regional collaboration. And of course, one important matter that you touched on is inspiring concrete action. Now, for this, that we often hear Sarawak is being touted as the battery of ASEAN, as also we've been mentioned earlier. Now, because of this abundant renewable resources that we have, the rich biodiversity that Sarawak has, especially hydropower that you also have pointed out, would enable us to lead Southeast Asia's energy transition. Now, I think this is also an ambitious and powerful vision that is led by the Premier of Sarawak as well, in championing for Sarawak and also Malaysia as a nation. But getting to become the battery of ASEAN, right, Dato', we'll probably need more than just harnessing our natural resources. I mean, we also need to maybe explore other technologies and avenues to become a major exporter of energy to our neighbors. So with SAREF 4.0 being set, and of course coming back bigger and better this time than the previous editions, I mean, how are we using this to push the vision forward and to position Sarawak as a leader in renewable energy for Southeast Asia?
So, we have started harnessing our substantial potential in hydropower back in the 1980s, and actually that has transformed our generation mix to predominantly hydropower today, renewable hydropower. And that gives us a strong platform to discuss and to drive energy transition, both in Sarawak and also in Malaysia, in Borneo, and in the region. And our strategic investment and strategic shift to hydropower in the mid-80s, I think, has given us a platform to today provide the most competitive tariff in the region. So not only we have clean energy, but we have affordable energy. So you can see that today in Sarawak, you could look at Samalaju, Samajaya. There are many investors coming in, looking at using our renewable energy to basically manufacture the product, which they can sell as green product around the world. And that actually is good for business, good for them, and good for us as well. And our premier is very advanced in his thinking. So he has basically stated that by 2030 we would have 10 gigawatts of energy. And today we have about 5.8. So it's quite a big task to do that. And then by 2035 is 15 gigawatts. And working with my team, I'm confident we can deliver that, and we will ensure that we will retain a big part of the renewable energy in our gen mix going forward. And so these plans are there, and we believe that as a state, and with the resources we have, with the capability we have in the organization, we will be able to deliver that. And SAREF 4.0 is a good platform for us to advocate and to drive this ambition that we have to become, as I said earlier on, the battery of ASEAN and a renewable energy powerhouse for the region. And with the support of our leaders like Yang Muhammad Premier, I believe we can achieve that.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a very powerful message, Razi. And for the younger generations out there, we hope that you too, and for those of you who are watching at home, we hope that this conversation will give you a better look at how Sarawak is stepping up on a global stage. And also, thank you so much to our guest here today. Thank you so much, Datuk, for sharing with us to point out Sarawak with digital utility and also as a global powerhouse. And thank you for sharing. And of course, it's clear that SAREF 4.0 is really a change and driver for Sarawak and the region.
And for those at home, SAREF 4.0 will be taking place on the 3rd and 4th of September at the Borneo Convention Center in Kuching. For those interested in the future of energy and sustainability, it's definitely the place to be. So be sure to be there on September 3rd and 4th show.
All right, that's all from us from Dialog TVS. Big thank you once again for those of you at home. I'm Shil Chamato.
And I'm Razi Ahmad. We'll be seeing you next time.